I think that I have the coolest friends in the entire world. One of my friends, Greg Reed, incredible human being. He taught me something, over this summer. He had a tragic situation. His son had a traumatic brain injury, riding a electric bike and got hit by a car. And when this happened, within probably 3 days, Greg had changed almost every single thing in his life that I knew. And what I realized at that time as we sat down, he was like, imagine how much we could do if we had no option. And I started to think about it. I mean, he had packed up his house, moved, sold his car, changed a bunch of things, moved all the way downtown from Carlsbad, all these things because it was important to him. And there was really no other option. He needed to be close to his son. He needed to do these things, and he went out and did them. And as we sat down and we talked about this, it was one of those things that it brought up to me when we started our company. Actually, before we did, I went to a church service, and a guy was talking, and he said he had been married for 45 years. And, he said that he always got asked, how could he stay married for 45 years? And he said, it's just 3 words, and it was very simple. Commitment eliminates options. And he said, once I committed to my wife, it eliminated the option of any other woman that was contrary to her. And so when I heard that, it was like a light bulb went off, like fireworks went off in my head. And this was before I started my company. And then when I did start the company, I remember we were driving, Brooklyn and I were driving, we were dating at the time. And she asked me, what happens if this thing doesn't work? And I just turned to her and I said very quickly, I'll just work harder. And it was almost as if she calmed at that moment, but that type of mentality, that commitment eliminates options, was in my head. I had committed to opening salons. I had committed to building a team. I had committed to going after and, cutting away the fat from what I had seen in the past, making it more efficient, making it better, and honoring all my mentors. So it eliminated the option of anything contrary to that. And so for me, it was very simple, but this is what God was asking me the other day was, what if we could just eliminate the options? What if we had no option? Could we improve our attitude? Could we accomplish a task? Could we learn that new skill, deliver on a timeline? The answer is yes to all of them. But all of them come when we eliminate the options of anything contrary to that commitment. And in Proverbs 2, it was incredible because it invites us to commit to wisdom and eliminate the option of anything contrary. So why don't we get this party started?
Nothing more on my mind. I got 2 shines, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over and over again. Make no mistake, we continue to win. Defeat never know, cause I will not lose. They wanna mimic my moves, but can't walk in my shoes.
What if we could eliminate the option? What if there was no option? What are the things that would be possible for every single one of you, right? And what would be accomplished, or like what could we do? What could we accomplish in our life if we just had no option? Well, when I think about it, I think about my pops, right? And I told a story quite a few episodes back, but it was right around Thanksgiving. And we had a really cool car. It was a Grand Prix. I think it was a 1963. It was absolutely beautiful. Then one day I came home and it was gone. It was a Pontiac Catalina that we had, and it was busted up. The door wouldn't shut and all these things. And, here was my pops where I was thinking, like, why did you trade that car for this car? Years later, I found out that he did because the guy gave him a little bit of money, and that money paid for us to be able to have Thanksgiving because we didn't have any money to be able to buy dinner. And so my pops, the commitment that he had to his family eliminated the option of anything contrary to that. And, so I want us to really grasp that. And what God was saying to me is, like, the other day with Proverbs 2 was, what if we truly, truly eliminated the options? What if we looked at it and we said, in Proverbs 1, it's just talking about the features and benefits of wisdom. And imagine if we just eliminated the option of anything else and we just chose wisdom, right? And what is wisdom? The right use of knowledge. And that way we could gain all the knowledge of the world and we would know what to do with it. That knowledge would bring understanding. The understanding would bring insight. That insight would bring discretion. That discretion would bring discernment. That discernment would bring discipline, and the discipline would lead to strength, which would lead us right back to the fear of God, which would bring us the wisdom. And so it's amazing for this because when we look in Proverbs 2, it really helps us to understand how to really truly commit to wisdom. In verse 1 through 5, watch this. And he says it. He takes us down the line. He says, accept, store up, turn your ear, apply, call out, cry aloud, look, and search for, and then you will understand. Imagine that. Accept it. But even before you accept it, you have to seek it. So let's add that to it. I'm adding to the words tonight, right? But seek, accept it, store it up, turn your ear to it, apply it, call out for it, cry aloud for it, look for it, search for it, and then you will understand wisdom. In verse 6 through 8, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding equals success, guidance, and protection. Imagine if we could have that within our lives. Imagine if we could take the fact of saying, like, I would like to have success. I'd like to have guidance to be able to, once I had that success, where I would be able to sustain it, and then I could protect it. Well, what God is saying is if we look to wisdom, which will gain knowledge, and that knowledge will give us understanding, those things will create success, guidance, and protection. It's unbelievable how Proverbs, which was written 3,000 years ago, literally can apply today. If you're listening for the first time, this is an episode of Inchstones. We go about 15 or 20 minutes, and we just want to drop wisdom on you. We want to, focus your eyes onto sustainable wisdom that has lasted for 3,000 years that can be applied to today. In verse 9 and 10 of Proverbs 2, then you will understand what is right, just, and fair. Wisdom and knowledge will follow. Imagine. Then you will understand what is right, just, and fair. Imagine if we just had that power. If we just had the power to understand what was right, just, and fair. Because not every single thing that is right is just and fair. Not everything that's just is right and fair. Not everything that's fair is right and just. But imagine if you could do all of them in line and know when those things hit. You see, wisdom is not circumstantial. Wisdom is principle-based, and you can apply it wherever. And if we gain wisdom, which when we gain wisdom, the right use of knowledge, and that comes from the fear of God or the respect of God, which means that we just have to spend time with him, see his words, see his actions, and then we will respect him. And once we respect God, then he'll give us freely give us wisdom. And that wisdom will bring understanding or bring knowledge. That knowledge will bring understanding. That understanding, insight. The insight will bring discretion. Discretion will bring discernment. Discernment will bring discipline. Discipline will bring strength, and strength will lead us right back to the fear or respect of God. In verse 11, discretion will protect and understanding will guard you. You see, every single time when we're talking about the discretion, to be able to get discretion, we need to be able to have discernment before. To be able to get to that, we need insight. Before we get that, we need understanding. Before we need that, we need knowledge. Before we need that, we need wisdom. But to be able to get to that wisdom, we got to have the fear of God. You see, it all leads back to always just spending time, simply spending time with God. And if we do that every single day, and we do that every single moment, every single second, it's amazing what he can impart within us. Wisdom will help you to avoid silly things and silly people. That's verse 12 through 19. And it lists out all the silliness that you're going to see because silly people do silly things. And generally when you see silly things happening, silly people do them. It doesn't mean that the people are bad. It just means that silly things happen when silly people are in place. And silly people generally do silly things. So imagine if we could just avoid that. Well, we can avoid that by just looking to wisdom, filling our heart as much as humanly possible with wisdom. Now, Imagine if we had a scenario where we said there's no other option except wisdom. Well, as we run down this, you think about that discretion, which stems from wisdom, will protect you, and understanding will guard you. You look at the, what is right, just, and fair. Wisdom will help you to avoid silly things and silly people. So it's just giving all the features and benefits of it. And in verse 20 through 22, as we wrap up with this, is wisdom will guide your steps and guard your path. Now, this may sound lofty, but what I'm saying is when we take principle-based wisdom, that way we can move inside of our company, we can move inside of our relationships. And I was very fortunate with this. When those three words, commitment eliminates options, right? And so whatever we committed to eliminated the option of anything contrary to that commitment. And imagine if we applied this. We applied this in our business when we were growing salons all over the country. We committed to a certain way of going about things. We committed to three things in the salon: timing, technique, entertainment. Timing, technique, entertainment. We wanted to be the most efficient people in the world because we absolutely mastered our technique and become masters at that craft. And that when we had timing and efficiency and we mastered our craft, it freed us up to be ourselves, where we could entertain and we could bring our personality into the scenario. Every time that you're having to work on the thing or think about the thing while you're doing it, you're not going to be free to just be yourself because you're so focused on those other things. But imagine for us, we committed to those three things: timing, technique, entertainment, and that freed us up. We committed to those things, and it eliminated the option of anything that would stop us from being efficient, stop us from mastering the skill at the highest level, and eliminated the option of anything that didn't entertain people the way that they wanted to be entertained. So let's be serious here. A conscious decision not to choose wisdom would just be silly. Read Proverbs 2. I challenge every single one of you. Read Proverbs 2. Look at it, and it will take you through, and it almost creates the situation of, like, with all the benefits, all the features, all those things of wisdom and all the things that it will bring, it would absolutely be a silly, silly decision not to just eliminate everything else and just choose that. Take all the options out and just commit to wisdom. That's Proverbs 2. This has been Inchstones. My name is Kelly Cardenas, and I'm officially off the hot seat. I want to tell you guys I appreciate you. Like, subscribe, comment, share it with your friends. Peace, love, and soul.
Nothing more on my mind. I got two shines, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over and over again. Make no mistake.